What's up, you maniacal bunch of motherfuckers? Jackson here today with my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2 and what we would have done to fix it. I made a bold statement. I said, I could have made a better game than fucking Luke Smith. Right? I didn't add Mark Noseworthy. I was reminded by Uncompetitive that a lot of the changes to the skill tree and shit like that is because of Mark Noseworthy. I mean, he came out and he said that he felt like the problem with the class and gear in Destiny 1 was that it was too confusing. What?
Too confusing?
If that's too confusing, you're dumb. You probably shouldn't be playing video games. Sorry. But moving past that, so I forgot to mention that Mark Noseworthy. Another problem we had with our video was we said there wasn't going to be any new raid or anything like that with the new Warmind DLC. We were wrong. They're selling another add-on for the Leviathan raid with the fucking DLC.
Right. A new raid layer.
Yeah, it's an add-on. It's an add-on to the existing raid. So basically what they've done is they've chopped the raid up into 3 pieces, and now you're getting 2 more pieces of the raid. Who knows if it's chopped into more pieces than that?
Yeah.
But if you're selling me add-ons for an existing raid, I'm going to assume that you don't have any other raids that you have, you know, to release until this next update in the fall, when there's a new way to play FPSs that's never been done before.
Yeah.
We'll see, Bungie. We'll fucking see.
We'll see.
Anyway, that whole thing with that, we looked at a list of what it said there was going to be. We did not see raid layer.
At all. We saw...
So that's just a quick correction. Destiny 2 Warmind DLC will have another raid activity, even though it's just an add-on onto an already existing raid. Right? So it's not a new raid, it's not a new story, it's nothing like that, it's just a new raid layer. Whatever that is. We have never ran one of those because we don't own Destiny 2. We redboxed it, we beat it in 11 hours, we fucking didn't feel the need to own it after that. Right? So we took the guess that having the fucking game for the raid would not be worth it. And we were right. I watched the live stream of the raid. You watched some of it.
Right.
It looks tedious, boring.
And the raid is one activity that we didn't participate in.
Yeah.
I mean, we beat every strike.
90% of the game we did.
No, we beat every strike. We beat every single story mission. We didn't beat any of the timed event contents because we're not staying around for you to decide when to give us fucking content. But on day 1, 99% of the game was completed. Except for one activity, the raid. That was it.
We didn't do the raid. So, in that video, though, getting back to what we're doing here, we said that we could have made a better game. We've come up with several ideas. Now, when we were doing this, I was like, we got to build a framework of what we're, allowed to do. Because here's the thing. We can't be like, well, they should fucking, make an MMO and make each zone have up to 50 people and things like that. We don't want to do anything that they haven't already done because we want it to be within the realm of possibility. Right? With that in mind, the things we're going to say is 100% within the realm of possibility of things Bungie has already done. It's things they've already done, they already have a system in place for, and it wouldn't be too much work to make the game what it is now. Right? Probably would have cost them as much work as they did on Destiny 2 to this point. Like, all the work they put into it, they just had shitty direction.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry, dude.
Influences
you're
from
telling me that it's not shitty to fucking say that a shotgun and a rocket launcher is the same. It's not shitty to make an already dumbed down fucking talent system even more dumbed down. It's not,
It's not shitty to not include an extra class besides the 3 that were in the first game. It's not shitty that fucking the story was horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, so bad.
Or even how about another playable race?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. They could have done that. So, for starters, let's just start with the whole shebang, okay? So Destiny 2 let's talk about what it is, okay? It's a series of patrol zones that you go through, completing main story missions as you reach the level high enough in order to obtain them. This forces you to do patrols. It forces you to do patrols in order to level up to reach the next mission in the story, which is dumb.
Oh yeah.
It's dumb. You want to do that, there's better ways to do that. Then once you get to the end, it's like everything's fine. You're given all these monologue and exposition scenes with the speaker and the Bane Cabal, the Cabal Bane, and he's like, oh, I'm evil, but I'm not evil. I kind of want to be good. How did the light choose you? How can I get the light to choose me? And then he just goes crazy at the end. You fucking kill him. The fucking tower's back. No consequences, no permanent changes except for a reskinned fucking tower, okay?
And while this is all happening, we're fighting enemy types that is given no context to that outline of the story of the Cabal invading us.
Yeah.
It was just horrendous.
It was like, we're fighting the Vex here because we have to get what's-her-name here to help us with the Cabal. And it was like these loose ends that didn't really hold any tie. It was just like, here's some more zones for you to farm in.
Yep.
That's what it was. That's what Destiny 2 was. It was like, look guys, you love farming, right? You love running the same inane activities over and over again without context, without any sort of fucking, you know, weight behind your actions. Well, guess what? Here's a bunch more zones for you to do that in.
Exactly.
Right? There was never... So here's the thing. How would we have fixed this, Chubbz?
Right. Like,
how would we have fixed this?
Well, as far as like just from a creative standpoint of gameplay decisions, it would be drastically different. So, as far as like what you're doing in the game.
Yeah. So first of all, the first thing I would have done, and Chubbz, I'm sure you'd agree with me with this, I would have separated PvE and PvP.
Yes.
Had a different rule, different rules for PvE, or I mean for PvP than I did PvE. Okay? I'd put the PvP in charge. I'd put someone in charge of the PvP who loves the Crucible, who wants to see more things. One thing I would say on the PvP, because we're not going to be going into the PvP too much. Me and you are not big Crucible players. We did it when the game forced us to do it pretty much.
Right.
Right? But I will say this, that I would make it mandatory to have big maps with multiple, like, I'd say 30 versus 30 maps.
Right.
I'd want to make it bigger and better. I wouldn't nerf a 6v6, which is already a tiny, you know, pretty much basic as fuck team deathmatch format. I wouldn't have taken that and then turn it into 4v4.
4v4.
Right? I would not have nerfed down the PvP. I would have expanded upon it and made it much bigger and grander. All right? If you're worried about balancing when it comes to our ideas for the PvE, well, you can have a gear score that will only put people in a bracket who have the same gear score. You could have fucking level capping. So if you're in between this level and that level, you're going to get ranked with the people within that level. That way, at that point, you don't even have to change the rules. Okay? Because let's say, because what we would have done with the PvE is we would have let everyone click an exotic in every slot. You could have had an exotic primary, exotic secondary, exotic heavy. You could have had an exotic fucking, you know, chest, head, fucking gloves, legs.
In every single armor and gun slot.
And all of those armor pieces would have worked with each other and your skill tree, which would not be simplified, dumbed down bullshit. It would have been expanded upon and it would have had things for you to play with, not only with switching out talents for other talents, but also with wearing certain gear for that thing. So if you're a fucking Arc Titan subclass, you know what I mean, Fist of Havoc subclass, well, here's a set of armor that, you know, buffs arc damage, or here's a set of, it changes your grenade in a drastic way, or it cools down everything. I mean, that was like the thing about Destiny 1, is there was always like this feeling of like, man, I hope they do that someday.
Right, I hope they expand upon this right here that they have and make it more
because it was just such
intricate.
a basic, stupid decision. Like, okay, do I want to wear this helm that increases the fucking strength of my bubble? Do I want to wear this fucking chest piece so I have, you know, more grenades than I normally would have? Do I want to wear these gloves so I get more heavy ammo than I normally would? And it was like, it was such a basic bitch choice. And the sacrifice made was tiny because each exotic, really, the greatest thing about the exotics is they buffed your fucking light level, right? As far as weapons, it was just shitty. Because it's like, oh, well, if I want to use this really good sniper rifle, then I can no longer use this really good hand cannon.
Yep.
If I want to use this really good hand cannon, then I can no longer use this really good shotgun. I can no longer use this really good, you know, rocket launcher, like the Gallarhorn.
Right.
And it put us into a situation where that's what people were saying in raids. Oh, you don't have Gallarhorn equipped? You're stupid. Right? Mm-hmm. So then it was just like, if you had the Gallarhorn, you equipped that. If not, you had another heavy exotic that was decent,
right,
to replace it. And it was like, that's what you had to have, or else people were going to bitch and cry. Right? And so that's the thing. That right there, I feel like if you're saying that that would imbalance the PvP, like that would fuck up the PvP, I say no, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't. Because everyone in the bracket, if it's gear score based, meaning if you have 1 or 2 pieces of exotic, you're only going to get placed with people who have 1 or 2 pieces of exotic armor, right? If you have 4 pieces of exotic armor 3 fucking exotic weapons equipped. You're only going to get in matches that have people like that. All right? And this is the thing. I wouldn't worry about retention, because the rest of the game would be full and thick and interesting enough that I wouldn't be worried about people not coming back to play.
Oh, at all.
Right? Because that's what they did. Now they're worried about that. Now you can't do that because there probably wouldn't be the player base to support it. But in the initial stages, where everyone's on running footing ground, if someone came along and they said, I bought the game late and I don't have all those good exotics and I'm getting my ass kicked and I can't get them, and I'd say bullshit. Go cry somewhere else. Because another thing I would have done is put way more ways to earn exotics. I would have had quest a week that is a guaranteed exotic drop on top of the fucking Nightfall that's already, it's just a chance.
Yeah, the Nightfall.
I would have made sure you were getting an exotic for every goddamn activity. Because I wouldn't have wasted so much money and time on other things. I would have reintroduced exotics from the first game that would have been way different and better. I would have fucking had a quest for all the main ones, so you could get the main ones back. I would have had it make sense within the context of the story. Like maybe you have to raid a Cabal ship, and it's the Cabal ship that came in and took everyone's shit, and you're able to bust in there and get your shit back. You know what I mean? Oh, look, I got this weapon, and this weapon back. Something like that. Not this, oh, reintroducing fan favorite exotics as part of our expansion material.
No.
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 If you're gonna take people's content and then sell it back to them, you want to make it easy for them to get it back.
Exactly.
Right? So for instance, we have a regular viewer, uncompetitive. He's commenting all the time. One of his biggest problems was, I'm not going to have my Meta tool. That was his favorite gun for PvP. That was his favorite weapon. And now moving forward to Destiny 2, he's not going to have it. Why?
Right.
Because the Cabal blew the shit out of the tower and they destroyed all our weapons and, you know.
Dude, I would have made that your first endgame activity. Like, as soon as you hit max level, you get a mission where you have to do that exact setup that you just said. You have to go raid a Cabal ship and get your ship back, except for it would have a list of exotic weapons and exotic quests.
The thing is,
and you pick and choose which one from the old game, an exotic weapon that you would like, and it started you at endgame with the max level exotic of that.
Exactly. And the thing about it would be is that they have this list because people are online and they have these stats online, so they could say, okay, Jax, he had this exotic, this exotic, this exotic, this exotic, right? Then have a quest, like you said, for each one of those. Have it be interesting. Like, we got to break into this fucking, you know, Cabal ship. We're going to, you know, go in there. You're going to have to fight off a bunch of things. We're going to set the motherfucker to self-destruct. We're going to get our weapons and bail out the back door. And have that happen. Like, have your fucking, you know, Guardian float out of a ship as it's fucking blowing up, and have your ship come by and fucking whip by real quick and pick you up.
Snag him.
Yeah, that'd be such a sick fucking... And here's the thing, another thing, with the narrative, the narrative that they told in Destiny 2 was so bad. I'm not gonna say because of the writing or because of the horrible way it delivered exposition, how it was half-cocked out of nowhere in some places. Like, all of a sudden we're fighting Vex and all this, and then... I'm evil! He's back. Why is he back? I don't know. We were fighting Vex, but... Oh, I see. Because the story has to push itself forward. And in order for the... You know, he's got to tell us what the story is. He's got a monologue with the fucking Traveler. Or the... Not the Traveler. The fucking speaker. You know, about the fucking... What the story is.
And it's like, he's gonna go good. And then at the end of the game, he kills him. Okay.
Yeah, but ultimately, that's not even... Like, that's not even why it fails. Where it fails on a fundamental level is it makes it breaks the immersion
of every activity.
Every activity, everything you do, this story means nothing. And we know that because it's like, okay, well, they're telling me that I'm the only one. I'm the only Guardian who is able to break through and complete these series of events and get my light back. Like, even though Chubbz is sitting right over there across the room and I can see his fucking TV.
We're in the same lobby online in the same game.
I can see what he's doing over there, and so I know that, like, I'm not the only one who got the light. Like, Chubbz got the light too. I'm seeing him do it. And oh, he got the light the same exact way I did, and there was no difference.
And then not only that, but say you were playing solo. You're running around patrolling on a planet, which, like you said, you had to patrol before you could beat the game.
This campaign had a single player campaign in a multiplayer game. This didn't leave any room for anyone else, for any other sorts of thing. It was just like, this is your linear path to follow, Guardian. No one else can do it. Meanwhile, you're out in the field doing patrols so you can actually run the next fucking story mission. And you see all these Guardians and they all have their power.
There's like 6
standing
around you.
Yo, how about we all of us like right here in this zone, we go up, we fuck them up. We all got our powers, but I heard no one has our powers. And that's why we're in such duress, is because they've stolen the light, because they've captured the Traveler and locked him in some fucking...
And for some reason, it all rests on my fucking shoulders.
Yeah, it's all up to me. Yeah. Just me. No one else can be in part. And that's the problem. A narrative should have been told of a multiplayer perspective. All right? You're not important. I mean, you are important, but this isn't all about you. You're not fucking Link in Zelda, right? You're more of like, I would say, like a Spartan in Halo or something like that, where it's open to let you become not only your own Guardian, so then the character customization matters and all of that shit matters. But it's like now you're part of the group collective and the push against the Cabal. Because this is a war. A war cannot be won by a single Guardian with a single, person who got their light back. And you could have had that mission where you're getting your light back. You could have had that mission transfer into multiplayer. So once you get up in there, and you could have it be harder, have there be more fucking enemies there, based on the amount of players there, if you want to work. And so you go in there, oh, there's 3, 4, 5 players here, let out more enemies. And you have to actually fight off the Fallen for that shard just the way you do, but you do it together. You do it together, and it's made known to you at the onset of the mission that these shards are appearing everywhere. And that Guardians all over the place are going to seek back get their light. Okay? But first of all, I wouldn't have had it begin like that anyway. Right? Because it was so fucking stupid. Slow walk down this hall. Look at the misery of the people of the town of the tower.
Bane broke your back and threw you off the tower.
Oh, you're going over the tower. It's like...
What are we gonna do?
It's because I would not have introduced the Cabal Bane at any point. Like, that would have been something that would have happened months and months and months after release.
And that would have been a free content updated. Yeah. And it would have been a whole ordeal. It would have been an entire fucking event.
Just for starters, we would have made it so you can equip exotics in every slot. We would have had class-friendly guns with class-friendly perks on those guns. Subclass-friendly perks on those guns. Subclass-friendly perks on gear. Class-friendly perks on gear. Things that would not only buff just your subclass of what you're in, but also your overall class as a Titan.
And it would force you to pick and choose as a build. What do you want to do?
And you could go into your talent tree and say, okay, and this is not some basic bullshit. It's something, and you can change it at any time. There's a huge argument with people about like Andromeda. That by letting the player switch their class and spec at any time, you've ruined the game because of sacrifice. There's nothing to really sacrifice because you get it all. I totally understand that argument. I totally get that perspective. But at the same time, I'm not personally against you being able to say, okay, well, can I re-change my talents? And you can, yeah, just go for it. Because now you've gotten a new set of exotic armor that buffs, like, the fucking Defender subclass.
But the thing is if you are giving that option of people picking and choosing at any point in time what they want to do in their skill tree, incentivize them to do that. Add something there that spices that up. Like the gear that you just said. That's why I would that would be the best idea, is to have builds through the gear with the skill tree. And then
have it matter.
Yeah.
Have it be something that changes the course of the playthrough.
Yeah.
Have it a reason, okay?
Yeah. And
so that's...
Another thing, the factions.
Let's get into that. Yeah. Hold on one sec. So, like, from the onset, our campaign... Tell me if you agree with this, Chubbz. Our campaign would have started much the same way. All-out war with the Cabal. They just finally, their reinforcements got here. We knew they were coming from Destiny 1. We knew they were trying to reach out to their fucking reinforcements and get more people here, right? So they're here. We don't know what they're doing here. All of a sudden, there's an attack on the Traveler. It would have started out with you going inside the Black Garden, since that's inside the fucking thing.
Inside the Traveler.
You go into this, you go inside the Black Garden and the fucking Cabal are there. And they're fucking mobbing the whole fucking thing. You see ships out there, and like you're just told by the traveler or the speaker, like, we got to get him out of there, we got to stop him. So it starts there, and no matter what you do, no matter how hard you fight, you are ultimately fucking broke down, and you fail, and you barely escape with your life. Okay, when you return to the tower, you see that it's been sacked, all your shit's been stolen. Like, it's like a few remaining survivors, and the way that they survived, by grouping up with their factions. The 3 factions held control. Now, I'm not going to include Vanguard faction or the Crucible faction.
Or the Iron Banger. Or the Queen's Guard. Or the House of Wolves.
None of that factions. I'm talking about the core factions within Destiny. Dead Orbit, Future War Cult, New Monarchy. Upon returning, you have to choose one of these factions to go with. Now, each of these factions are working together, but there is definitely, like, because of politics and things like that, there is some backdoor dealing things going on where you can even fuck around with that and have quests take place against an opposing faction and have it be a PvP mode, but have it be like open world PvP. Like, you got to go in there, and if there's any Dead Orbit people happening to be guarding their base, well, you're going to have to take them on too. So you better get some more Future War Cult people. And that would open up this whole new way to play the game where it's an actual faction war. But it's nothing overt or like you trying to take them out. It's little things like trying to get information, trying to steal like files, trying to steal things from them in order to boost your faction above
in the tower. Yeah.
And so that's all backdoor. That's all low key. That's happening outside of the confines of the main direction of the game. The main direction of the game would see whatever faction you picked taking on missions for the tower. Zavala, whoever's in charge at this point, whoever's rallied the troops. Like, so Dead Orbit, the fucking V-dub guy in the house, he's fucking talking to Zavala. He's coming back to you. He's saying, hey, look, you know, V-dub in the house, go fucking kill these aliens on this planet. And so, but that's the thing, like, so then you go there, and then he's a creepy dude on fucking Prison Break, and you don't know what to do at that point. But anyway, that would be what I did. I would make it so, like, each playthrough you're forced to choose a faction. There's 3 factions, there's 3 fucking character slots.
That means 3 different stories. That means 3 different entirely new ways to play the game.
Yes, and I'd have reputation passive buffs that you got once you hit a certain rank. So if I chose Dead Orbit and I'm a Titan and I do so blah blah blah, say I get a little extra speed. You can now run a little bit faster, or, you know, because of boots that you've gotten from Dead Orbit or something like that. I'm just like spitballing off the top of my fucking head here. But I would make the factions matter, like you said, because in the original game, that was what was supposed to explain the PvP. If you follow B. Dobbins and all the shit, like, he's gone through the dev diaries, he's done the research, he says, in the initial stages of Destiny, like, Dead Orbit existed, New Monarchy existed, Future War Cult existed, so that there was a reason in the PvP. Like, you're clashing with these other factions that you're friendly with, that you're most definitely working together with, but there's still, like, this backdoor politics. That's revealed through the Grimoire. That all of these different things are trying to reach for the ultimate power in the city. And then you have, like, the Vanguard or whatever the fuck it is that's kind of there as, like, the overall authority. So, and that's the thing, like, in this scenario, the Vanguard most likely would have been decimated. And so you're choosing one of 3 factions, and you're given a specific set of quests based on the faction you pick. So now, not only does it have a great narrative, it's giving more world building on these factions. You're able to find out more about these factions. Each one of these factions have their own social space, their own social hub.
They actually do certain things, like you said, that complement your build.
Yeah, that help you. When you get higher enough level, you start to get reputation-specific exotics. You know, you have all these ways for just there. And that's not to mention underneath that, where you have faction wars going on, which is less of a queue for a fucking mission or a Crucible match, go into the Crucible match, 4v4, boring shit. No, instead, it's you go to their fucking place. You have to fucking either sneak in or get past, and you can have all these different ways to sneak into the enemy faction's place, and your whole goal is just to get in there and get something, right? That leads to, like, dude, some of the most memorable moments I had in World of Warcraft was getting with like 40 fucking people and going into the enemy cities. the capitals and fucking wiping everything out, doing a raid, killing their fucking...
Those holiday events, and that's not
that
even
shit
like...
was fun as fuck!
And that's not even like a PvP mode that you can queue in for.
No, you gotta create... But that's the thing.
That is like server-wide.
The best thing about...
That is worldwide activity.
Yeah.
You know, holiday events, you would have people having to go into other cities to fight their leaders, and it was an entire ordeal. I want to see some shit like that.
Yeah,
in
but
Destiny.
there's nothing like that. It's very basic, bare bones shit.
I want to see worldwide.
But that
events.
would be my equivalent of what it would be. I would make it groups of 10 or 6 based on whatever you want to do. I think more is better.
I'd say 12.
I think you have the numbers to support these big groups. And they say that, like, yeah, but if we had, like, all of these things, like, matchmaking for the raid and these things, like, it wouldn't work because people would fucking, like, drop out or stuff like that. Or, like, no, listen. If you have an in-game sort of connection where people can click into a fucking window, talk to everyone else in the world, and you limit that by faction. So if you're Dead Orbit, you click in this window... You're saying, hey, everybody, I got to go into the New Monarchy base. I got to still, you know, whatever it is, and I got to get out. But there's like, I've been trying to all night, and there's a bunch of fucking New Monarchy dudes, and they're just chilling there. Anyone mind giving me a hand? And then you get people, and then it's like fucking a legit faction war that's told through the narrative as a low-key sort of thing that's just kind of happening behind the lines, on top of your chosen faction sending you out to these planets. And if you want... I would do this. I would have an option to flag yourself as PvP.
Yes.
So as you're out in the world, you can turn on PvP, and then anyone from New Monarchy, anyone from fucking Future War Cult, anyone from any other faction, they're able to attack you openly. Anyone part of Dead Orbit is able to protect you.
Yep. And if they attack you, or if you attack another player, or in any instance, you are automatically flagged for PvP. So it's not like there's all-out wars.
You don't have to do it.
It's unfair.
You can decide not to participate. 100%. You just fucking mark yourself as PvE only, and you're fine. Yep. You want to fucking get jumped and have a little excitement? Turn your PvP on.
Yep.
You know, you see like a couple of fucking Dead Orbit bros fucking fighting a couple of New Monarchy or vice versa, and you're like, I want to get in on this. You can flag yourself PvP, go join the New Monarchy, go join the Dead Orbit, and fight back. The thing about this is this would be an ultimate sacrifice because the character that you play will only be part of that faction that you pick in the beginning.
Yep.
So if you want this to be this, you have to play that fucking reputation. There's no turning your back on the reputation on that character. There's no turning your back on that faction. You're Dead Orbit from now on this character. That gives me a fucking reason, because in Destiny 1, what was your reason to level a Hunter or a Warlock? Besides just playing through the game on them.
Honestly, there was no reason to choose any of the factions in Destiny 1 other than picking colors.
That's what it was. It was, grinding their rep to max it out so you could get fucking a supply pack that may contain a shader. Yeah. Because all the legendaries and shit like that are going to be pretty much worthless. You know, you're going to have exotics or better legendaries from the raid.
Yeah, you're getting legendaries from the raid.
And then it was just like this underwhelming thing that I remember hearing a lot of people complain about. It's like, why do I even have reputation to farm? There's no reason to fucking farm it, right? There's no reason other than a rank. Oh, well, I'm rank 5 now. I'm rank 6 now. Yeah. So what does it mean? You've gotten 6 fucking packages. Yep. That's it. That's all it means. And so I would have changed that to where it means something. And you could have easily... Because if we're running under the confines of what they could easily do, reasonably do, okay, I know that they could put multiple people in a zone online. I know that they can put multiple people in a zone online and have them be versus each other. I know that, you know, this is things that I know can happen.
Oh, yeah.
I know that they have Dead Orbit. I know that instead of having, like, the farm, they could have instead worked on creating a specific... Oh, well, I forget the farm was already done. Right?
Yeah.
But on top of that, they could have made it so there were just a little, in that first area where outside of the tower, you're in the woods, you know, old Chicago or whatever they're calling it now.
The European Dead Zone.
Yeah, whatever they're calling it now. You go and you look at that and you say, okay, well, here's the Dead Orbit base, here's New Monarchy base, here's Future War Cult base. Right? And you have those bases in there. You easily could have done it. You have the space, you have the manpower, you have the goddamn talent.
You have the money.
You have the fucking money.
Don't tell me you don't have the fucking money.
Don't even get me started fucking you crying about money, motherfucker. Alright? Anyway, now this is our next idea. This is an idea that actually comes to us from our good friend Aristotle. He's the one who made our pretty banner. You know, he's fucking been a supporter of the channel for a long fucking time. When I was talking to him about Destiny 2, he was saying I would have made it like a war thing. And the more I thought about, like, you had to push back against the Cabal, and it actually opened up new activities and events for you to do. The more I started to think about that, the more fucking awesome it seemed to me. And I began thinking about Helldivers, where it's all the players versus all the AI, and you have to complete missions over and over again, and eventually you push to the enemy base, and then there's an invasion event of the enemy planet. And if you're not playing and pushing back, then it actually can happen to you too. They'll invade your fucking homeworld. And you have to defend them there.
And you can lose as a server or win as a server.
So this is the sort of thing I would have done. I would have had every mission be something like a sabotage against the Cabal army. So you go do this, you go do that, you go do this, you go do that. And now it's time for us to face them in open battle. And you gotta go here. And that would have been like a big event that would have included guardians of any fucking faction.
And it would have been like this struggle. Yeah. You would actually feel like that narrative from Destiny 1 where the darkness is encroaching on Earth and you have to physically force that fucking line back out into the stars, because it would always, every single time you would be called out into open battle on a planet, it would be a battle that they control. And as soon as you wrested away from them, that line would push further out. You know what I mean?
Well, and not only that, the quests leading up to that big battle, I would have be things like sabotage, you know, their flank. Sabotage, you know, this or that. You know, go blow up this ship. And then based on those actions that you made, the battle is better.
Oh yeah.
So and this is going to happen at the point anyway. Like, the battle's going to happen, and this is going to be a regular thing. There will be a skirmish here. There will be a skirmish there. And by doing all these side quests beforehand, you're actually making that battle easier to win. You're you know, and having less abilities. So like, if you take out their ship, for example, and enough guardians do it, because we're not just going to be like one group of 3 go up and take out this ship on a mission and it's gone. No, you'd have to be like this amount of guardians in these amount of groups. You know what I mean? And then at the end, you could even have there be, after the whole goddamn shebang, you won the battle, it's pushed the line, it's opened access to more areas, you know, more planets, right? Because we've pushed them off Earth. So now there's all sorts of activities now on Earth that we can do, ways that we can go and explore the planet that we couldn't before.
Ways that we can buff back our power, because at this point we're in ragtags, you know, people have barely survived the devastation of the ransacked tower, and so every single activity you do, it ups the arsenal of the tower, or, you know, you get more survivors, or you're getting a better arsenal, explosives, or, you know, ships. And so, like, that's the thing, is with that, it would help add more flavor to what you're doing.
Well, it gives you an incentive to get on. Like, what's the incentive for Destiny 2 players to get on? It's to run the weekly nightfall, the weekly raid activities, and that's it.
And there's no sense of risk.
To get gear, to get, you know, so you can have one exotic equipped at a time. So it's just like, it's fucking, like you said, it's pointless. There's no real reason to log back into Destiny unless you're addicted to it. That's why I kept logging back in, is because there was something there that I got hooked on, that I couldn't turn away from, that I really enjoyed. But when I woke up to the fact, I was like, wow, what is there to do? I mean, I'm farming fucking exotic things I already have just to do it.
And you're just, doing the same activities you've already done.
Yeah, to get the same guns I already have. Yeah. But this time they have a higher number on them, so they're better now, okay? Yeah. And so that's the thing. This sort of thing would have given people a reason to log in, because if not enough guardians complete the quest before that fucking thing happens, then that battle can go terribly wrong, and you will be stuck where you were back, you know, here. And then as this continues, and would be unfolding in the days after release. So you know there'd be enough guardians on doing these things. You knew there'd be things like that going on. People would be able to fucking be like, wow, this is fucking awesome. Like, so we've pushed them, now we're going to fucking, what was that planet? It wasn't Venus. Mercury? But the one that looked like Venus.
Mercury,
either way. One of those fucking planets that you push through. The one with, not Zavala, but the chick, the warlock chick. Oh my god, what's her name? Future War Cult chick. Yeah, Ikora Ray.
I can't remember what planet that was. It was the one where the traveler first went to the solar system or something,
and like it was fucking a bunch of fucking dumb shit, but it looked gorgeous. Yeah. But now we have access to that planet, and there's all sorts of things going on there. Yeah. Okay? Underneath all of that, you have all these other enemy types, right? You got the Fallen, you got the fucking Taken, you got the fucking Hive, you know, the Vex.
Let's flesh out the backstory.
Exactly.
I mean, just because the Cabal are attacking and they're the general focus of the story doesn't mean that you can't give a little backstory as to the human race or even the Traveler. I mean, there's the Warmind. You could give a little bit more details as to the Fallen. You know, why the Traveler came to us.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing that
Here's
I would have liked to have
I don't
done.
think they even fucking know.
They don't
I
know.
think that what they did know, they took it and they chopped it up so much because at some point during Destiny 2, I would have had the Stranger come back.
Oh, yeah.
I would have had that line continue into the fucking...
And it would have been in a mission that would have explained the Vex's backstory.
And she would have taken you to their to a place, because she's obviously traveling through time and dimensions, right? She's now going to take you with her, and then so you have these missions that are taking place back near the end of the Golden Age, or, you know, in that era, and they're explaining what the Vex are. Are they humans? Are they a race of other things that have just fucking become machines? Because we know that some of them is organic material.
Yeah.
We know that at one point, odds are they were a living, breathing people. So who are they? You know, are they humans that figured this out and then it got away from them, fucking T2 style, and now they're fucking, you know, like Skyneted out, completely taken over?
You could do anything with it.
Really. Exactly. And that's the thing about this is two fucking guys who just play games. Like,
yeah.
We don't make games, we don't have the technical prowess to make games, we don't have the technical, you know, capabilities to make these big $500 million games. But for some reason, these are all infinitely better fucking ideas than what Destiny 2 did. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck? Anyway, the raid would have not been available until you had pushed the Cabal back to Mars. And then the raid on Mars would have been available. This Leviathan bullshit would not have existed. Whatever raid they're saving for their autumn expansion that they're going to sell you would have been the raid. Because the raid on Mars against the Cabal
is the raid for Destiny 2.
Is the raid. It's you versus the Cabal the entire course of the game.
The narrative doesn't even allow you to fit in with the Vex and the Fallen and know their understanding of their fucking
They're just attacking randomly, sporadically. They're just attacking. Yeah. The Hive want to blot out the light. The Vex are there because the Vex are there.
Time.
Yeah.
But another thing
is, it's stupid.
You want to give Destiny the MMO-worthy title. You want to compare Destiny to World of Warcraft in my eyes. How about this? The Mars raid, definitely at the end, like you said, after you pushed all the way in on the Cabal. But you had another little side raid, kind of like Naxxramas to the Ice Crown Citadel.
Okay, like a little side thing.
Right, and it's not against the Cabal.
Well, there you go. That's the Leviathan.
It's not against the Cabal. It could be against the Vex. But the thing is you would have all these different enemy types explained through the story. You know, you want to have me fight the Hive, tell me why I'm fighting the Hive.
Because they want to take out your light. That's it. Well, like, they want to eat your light.
But that's what I would do. Yeah. That's the thing. Is like, I want to fucking know why I'm doing these things.
Well, even with the Taken King, like, all of that shit. And I didn't read the Grimoire, but all that shit, all I got was fucking Homeboy was pissed because we killed fucking Crota.
Yep.
That was it. That's all I got. He's coming for you. You killed his son or his brother or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And that was it. And like, yeah, there were some badass cutscenes and some cool moments with him, but I understood him just about as much as I do the Cabal Bane. And the Cabal Bane had more work put into him. But guess what? When someone stupid and bad at writing and telling stories is telling you a story, it's going to be bad, stupid, and dumb to listen to. And that's how I felt about the Taken King narrative. That's how I felt about the Rise of Iron narrative. That's how I felt about the fucking Destiny 2 narrative. Is it was just a less, like, someone who doesn't, it's like a 10-year-old trying to tell you a story and get you into it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this doesn't make much sense, kid. And like, there's a lot of contrivances and no nuance, and it's not bad because he's 10.
Yeah.
What the fuck is your excuse, Bungie? What is your excuse? You fucking have access to all of this money. You can literally pick and choose writers. Who are you hiring to write for you?
Right?
Whoever it is, they're bad. That whole Bane, every scene with the Bane and the fucking speaker, I wanted to blow my head off out of boredom. Because it was just so stupid and dumb. Like, what does any of this mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think the people who fucking wrote this knows what it means.
Maybe the people who read the Grimoire cards. But that's another thing that I want to address.
It was a giant fuck you to anyone who was expecting anything. It was just as much a fuck you as Star Wars Episode 8. The Last Jedi.
Right, yeah.
Because you look at it like this, okay? The Last Jedi, or the fucking Star Wars Force Awakens, left open all these holes, all these mysteries, right? And then Rian Johnson picked it up and burned everything down and said, I'm going to do something that I will do.
I will subvert everyone.
No one will know what's going to happen. They thought this movie was going to be good. Ha! It's actually shit.
I'll subvert my own dick.
So that's like Destiny 1. Destiny 1 has all of these interesting ways that you can fuck with. All these things, like there's still the stranger out there somewhere. You know, there's the speaker that can actually finally open up and talk.
The Vex aren't even given an origin story. The Fallen aren't given an origin story. Yeah, all of these things.
But they tell you, fuck you. Like, he says, no, fuck you. I think the stranger's story was wrapped up perfectly. Yeah. That bitch ain't coming back.
And then in the game, they fucking
even reference it. They joke it.
Cade 6, I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain. Fuck you, Bungie.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you.
Fucking A. And then from there, it's like the speaker. What do we find out from the speaker? Oh, that he can die. That's what we find out. That he can say, the light won't choose you.
That they couldn't afford Davy Jones
anymore. The Traveler chose us. And I'm not gonna say why or anything.
It's because I guarantee you they couldn't afford fucking Davy Jones anymore. How much you want to bet?
Davy Jones, the tentacles. It's a matter of price.
Yeah. They hired Peter Dinklage with Destiny 1, paid him fucking millions of dollars, and then everybody hated it. It was like,
I didn't even mind it, dude. I honestly, that was like the one problem that people kept spewing that I was like, really? Have you never played an RPG with shitty voice acting?
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking top notch. Go play Arcania.
Yeah.
Go play the Arcania games. Okay? And then you tell me that this is bad voice acting. Alright? No, Dinklage did fine. Of course he sounded bored. They didn't tell him what he was doing, what his point was. He's an actor. Okay? If I go to an actor and I say, okay, you're a robotic little ghost. Go. I'm gonna get the exact same fucking goddamn shit that I got from you got from Dinklage.
No exposition, no world building,
you don't tell him anything. You're just like, you're a little robot that flies around and makes Guardians come back to life again and opens doors. Go. Go. Give the actor some motivation. Clearly this motherfucker knows how to act. If you've watched any episode of Game of Thrones, fuck, the first movie I ever saw that guy in, first thing I ever saw Dinklage in was Penelope, right? A lot of people might laugh, but I actually love that fucking movie. Like, I think that's a great movie. I'm a huge fan of Christina Ricci going way back. Watch Black Snake Moan if you have any question why I'm a fan of Christina Ricci. She is one of the fucking best female actresses that come out of my fucking era. Like, she starred in Casper and shit, right? So she's kind of been like I've grown up with her.
Right.
All right? So I know he can act. Like, in Penelope, he was fucking great. In the Game of Thrones, he's fucking phenomenal. He's one of the best parts. When he comes out, you're like, sweet, some Tyrion shit. Nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this isn't someone who doesn't know how to act. This is someone who is clearly given no motivation, no direction. You're a floating ghost that wakes people up and opens doors. Read lines.
There you go.
Read those.
We'll give you as much of the story as we're giving everybody else.
And that's the thing. Like, at that point, like, people were saying, like, complaining about it's like, really? What about the shitty grind system? What about the lack of endgame content? What about the fucking lack of entertaining gear that actually make a difference to the playstyle? Instead of, oh, well, now I just have an extra grenade every once in a while. Oh, now I have extra heavy ammo so I can use my ammo. I mean, yeah, these are game-changing gear, but it's such a minuscule change. It's like dropping a fucking pebble on a beach. Like throwing it down the beach and then trying to find it. Because like, that's how minuscule the change is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because the game plays out the same way. It's just now you have an extra grenade every once in a while. Now you have an extra melee hit once in a while. Now you have extra ammo every once in a while. Now, you know, and it's like, now your super fucking lasts a little bit longer. Now your super can take a little bit more damage. You know, it's like, at what point did no one ever say, like, okay, this is pretty simple shit. We can expand upon this. We're talented game makers. We're Bungie fucking Entertainment. There's 100 fucking fluff boys out there commenting, legit fluff boys, just on the internet all the time, talking about how we're the best, Destiny 2 is going to be the second coming, all of this. This is what we're giving them? Like, no one ever at any point, like, just thought, are they gonna like this?
Oh, I'm sure quite a people have, because that's the thing, is there's a shift in the company. A lot of the employees have left. So a lot of the people who had the creative influence in the first
they're
game,
gone.
They're done.
They're gone now.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, like, for us, that's just some little ideas. but I'd have it be like a live event time server.
One more thing that I want to
I would have it be, and you could even do something kind of like the Kolve Teroth.
Yeah.
Where it's like four groups of 3, and you're going in and you have to do it over and over again. There's things to do.
A worldwide event. Why not?
Something that brings the Guardians together and doesn't tell them that this is a narrative that can't exist if all those people exist.
Exactly.
This is a narrative that is only for you, kid. It's like basic fucking as shit story writing. It's clearly oriented towards kids. I was saying that for, I mean, the fucking promotional material. Rockstar fucking codes, fucking Pop-Tart codes, fidget spinners, coloring books.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking goddamn promotional trailers they released. Cade 6 in a bar drinking. Why is the robot drinking? Why is the fucking synthetic life form having a drink? Why is he the one that you decide?
This isn't Futurama.
Like, what the fuck? Oh, it is, though. It is now, because Cade 6 drinks, and he drinks, I don't know why. I don't even know what he was drinking. Was he drinking absinthe? He was drinking some green fucking material.
Fucking the writers over at Futurama had better sense than the writers at Bungie, because they actually were
explain why Bender drinks.
This is how he gains his electronic power cells.
Yeah, he has to fucking drink in order to fuel his body.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. There's none of that. It's just all kid shit. It's meant to make him look like a badass, and he's telling some stupid story that never comes up again. And it's just like, okay.
And you see,
that's the way we personally would have made Destiny 2 better. You guys, go ahead, dude. If you got any more ideas.
That I want to address, because the biggest thing, and this is one thing that the last thing is the grimoire card system, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't care if you want to have that there. Have it separate from the game. Right? So kind of like how Star Wars does it, where like the prequels were there.
You don't care about that? That fucking pisses me off.
Well, listen, kind of like how the prequels are there, and then there's the Clone Wars. Yeah. Right? Oh, so, like, you don't have to watch the Clone Wars to enjoy the prequels. It just adds more to that world.
But the grimoire was basically more. Yeah.
But that's how I would have it, is I would have the story fit and make sense and be a full-fledged out story with references to different things. And then through the Bungie grimoire system, I would have that almost separate from the game. But if you want it,
supplemental universe builder.
Yeah, yes. If you want it, you can go look at it. You'll get more lore, but it's not like you have to look at it.
The thing about that is there's no reason they can't put that on the game. If they have grimoire entries that they're going to have unlocked on a website, there's no reason they can't take those grimoires and put them on fucking exotics. So that when you get an exotic that you're not going to use, that you really don't care for, oh look, there's still some flavor text on here.
Yeah.
It's like in Dark Souls, but you know, like the Souls series. You get something, you may not want it, but then you read something interesting on it and you're like, oh, that was worth it. I'm glad I picked that up. That's a fucking cool thing. And that sends your mind spinning and you start thinking more about this universe and it wraps you up in the universe more, right? Destiny 2 does nothing but push you away from the universe. With shitty writing, a shitty narrative, a simplified fucking skill system, a dumbed down gear system, a dumbed down fucking everything, dude. Everything about that game is dumbed down. Even the raid. The raid does not look nearly as big or as intense as the previous games. So that's the thing. Like, that's how we would have made it better.
Oh, yeah.
Factions that matter. A narrative that is a collective narrative.
It would be
a narrative,
completely different.
A narrative that tells it in a way that you're not the only one. You are really important to this victory, but you're not the only one. You're not special. You're just as special as those guys over there. And together, we can't be fucking stopped. And humanity will push back the Cabal. And humanity will push back the Hive. And humanity as one will rise up and reclaim this goddamn solar system because it's our fucking home and we were here first. Instead, what did you get? It doesn't matter if I'm there or not. Because the other guy is going to do what I would have done. And he's going to get it done. And it don't matter if I log in this week. Don't matter if I do the Nightfall and have my one dice roll at an exotic. Doesn't matter.
There's no risk for me other than the risk at shitty loot.
And there's no incentive to get in. There's no big battle at the end. Oh, but you can go 4v4 or 6v6 now because they brought that back. You know, they're reverting the game back to Destiny 1. That's what they're doing. So that's how we would have made it better. And that's not hard. That's seriously, like, we talked about this after we did that video, that last video yesterday. Me and Chubbz, we talked about this, and I was like, well, do you think we could fucking do it? I mean, and we just came up right away with like the factions, with the gear. You were saying like, yeah, but like gear that matters. Because my whole deal was I want them to be able to equip exotics in every slot.
Right.
I don't see why, because some fucking people like the Crucible, I can't fucking be overpowered versus the AI. Why? Why can't I be overpowered? Why can't I farm gear that has a noticeable impact on the endgame? Where I go from fucking barely surviving a Nightfall to dominating it and making it my bitch. Why can't I do that because some people like Crucible? Because you're too goddamn lazy to code different rules for the separate activities? Anything PvE, wear whatever the fuck you want. Anything PvP, restrict people if you think that that's necessary for balance. It's that fucking easy, Bungie. But once again, you're too goddamn lazy to even do that. Once again, you're too goddamn lazy to offer up a raid lead with a fucking group loot system, with a dice roll system where instead of me and you rolling on the fact that we'll get one, it's me and you rolling against each other that the raid leader will give us one. Because the raid leader has it, you know? And he's divvying out the loot. And we're all rolling dice and I got the highest number, so now I get it. Or Chubbz was here for fucking 2 weeks longer than me, so he has seniority, it goes to Chubbz. They're too goddamn lazy to do that. The only thing they fucking innovate on is their fucking loot box system. And even that steps things back. When they fucking make it so shaders are not permanent. Shaders are now random. Shaders are not permanent and you have to fucking have 5 if you want to fucking equip all your gear. Fuck off, Bungie. Bunch of lazy half-ass cocksuckers. That's how we would have made a game. That wasn't hard for us. That was 50 fucking 1 minutes of fucking rambling bullshit. And it's better than your entire $500 million project game. Good job. But you know what, Mark? They're releasing a whole brand new way to play it in the fall.
I know.
I saw 5 fucking articles.
A game mode you haven't seen in a first-person shooter.
You've never seen this game mode in an FPS before.
Oh my
God. And
God.
it's coming in the autumn when you have to buy it.
But we don't know what it is. That's
if you don't own the fall expansion, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't do it. All this hype and fluff and advertisements from all these mainstream journalists.
This is not news.
This is a bunch of hacks running a game to the ground. And the question is do you want to be there for that experience, or do you just want to wait until they've ran it into the ground, pick it up on sale, and get the same experience everyone else got, but without all the bullshit? That's it for us. Jax?
Chubbz?
You got anything else you want to say, Chubbz?
Nah.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, let us know down below what you think. I know Uncompetitive, he left a huge list of changes he would have made to the PvP, which I found interesting as someone who doesn't like the Crucible. So if there's any other things you think they could have done with PvP, I'd say our biggest suggestion is massive battles. Massive battles. Like those maps in the first game that disappeared for some reason, that had the big, you know, add 10v10 in there. Have bigger battles, bigger maps. Make the game bigger. Don't fucking shrink it and make it dumber and simpler. That would be ours. Let us hear yours down below. Till next time, everybody. Fucking love you. Stay awesome. Stay safe. And always remember, we'll get this solar system back. Somehow. Some way. Never give up.
Never surrender!
You can't even hear any other enemies coming when he's doing it.
Well, that's a door.
It's fucking Smeagol jerking off. That is exactly what it is, Chubbz. You are correct.
It wasn't right. I'm high.
Oh! There's fucking enemies here!
It's so hard to take you seriously.
Oh my god. Well, plus it's on recruit. That's just so... He's still going.
You won't stop, man. You will go forever.
He's just wants to kill us so bad, and he can't. What is the point of that bug? I want to know how it's happening.
It's a residual spirit.
Oh shit, you know. I just want to know why it happens. Like, a part of me believes it's because it's like stuck in the wall, bro. You know what I mean? And like, it's just like the initial like sounds of it coming at us, but it can't do anything beyond that. Oh, wow. Holy fucking my life bar. Bye.